More than 100,000 deaths in India with confinement in Madrid. Hello, welcome again. Welcome to our newsroom for having the news in details. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Anglais, received the Ethiopian Finance and Economy Minister today in late morning at the Presidential Palace. During this meeting, the two parties emphasized the common will to strengthen consultations and cooperation between the two countries, particularly by intensifying the exchange of visits between officials working to establish as well as making use of the important partnership opportunities offered by the economies. In other words, to be strongly involved in investing in important sector for better economic development. This delegation, headed by the Ethiopian Ministry of Finance, Mr. Ahmed Shide, was composed of the Minister of Trade and Industry, Mr. Melaku Alabel, the Governor of the Central Bank of Ethiopia, Mr. Yinagir Dese, Mr. Girmabiru, and Tekliwod Atnafi, both economic advisor to the Prime Minister, accompanied by the Ambassador of Ethiopia to Djibouti, Mr. Brehanu Tizgei. On the Djiboutian side, in addition to the Minister of Finance, Mr. Yes Musa Dawali, the President of Power and Free Zones Authorities, Mr. Abubakar Omar Hadi, the Economic Advisor to the President, Mr. Mohamed Kayat Seki, the SG of the Presidency, and the Minister of Transport took part in this meeting. After the meeting with the President, the Ethiopian Prime Minister of Finance at the microphone of the press expressed himself, recalling that the Republic of Djibouti and the Democratic and Federal Republic of Ethiopia maintain a strategic partnership which are based on the win-win principles in almost all sectors of development. The two countries constitute a model of economic integration at the regional and continental level. Minister Shide further stated that in order to better achieve strong growth, it is necessary to multiply investment and the strengthening of infrastructure projects for increased trade activities. The Ministry of Economy and Finance of Djibouti made a statement for his part to the media after this meeting, in which he indicated that our country is linked to a neighboring Ethiopia with exceptional relations, stressing that this meeting falls within the framework of the ongoing consultation between the two countries, which are held regularly. The delegation began its working visit yesterday, Saturday, October 3rd, 2020, with a bilateral meeting with the Djiboutian side. The meeting, which lasted 3 hours, was co-chaired by the two Ministers of Economy and Finance of the two countries, in this case, Ilyas Musa Dawali and His Excellency Ahmed Shide. The purpose of the working meeting between the two countries was to assess the state of the strategic partnership between the two parties and ways and means of resolving difficulties in order to consolidate their economic relationship. In view of this wide-ranging integration, two countries adopted the custom of sharing information on new economic policy measures and practices and discussing their impact on the content of their partnership. The novelty is that in this year, 2020, Ethiopia has instructed new bills in its banking system instead of the previous ones, which will no longer be valid as of January 1st, 2021. Djiboutian operators are users of the Ethiopian currency, even if it is no official convertibility with the Djiboutian francs. The use of Ethiopian birr is tolerated by both countries, mainly at PK12, because of their economic and commercial interdependence. Introduction of the new banknotes in Djibouti will not create obvious difficulties, but both countries need to find a mechanism for Djiboutian holders of previous birr to exchange them with the new notes to the track of the Ethiopian Commercial Bank based in Djibouti, as an actor seems to have been favored by both parties. The Ethiopian delegation still yesterday in the afternoon visited the various port facilities, starting with the Doral Terminal Management Company. They were welcomed by the acting general manager, who briefly gave them information on the transshipment. The Ethiopian delegation was imbued with the capabilities of this infrastructure that make Djibouti a regional hub of reference in world trade exchanges. Once their visit to the SGTD was over, they headed to the DMP, where they were welcomed by the commercial director, surrounded by the people in charge of this gigantic port infrastructure located about 15 kilometers from the city center of Djiboutian capital. The director gave them a presentation on the various infrastructure projects. The members of the delegation also listened attentively to the explanation on technical capabilities of DMP and the port system setup in the port to facilitate transshipment and container loading operation. Now, the 150th anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi was celebrated with great pomp in the presence of the Ambassador of India to Djibouti, Ashok Kumar, the Mayor of Djibouti City, Mrs. Faduma Awal Osman, the General Secretary to the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Ibrahim Elmi, and the Commander of Coast Guard, Colonel Bais Omar Borre. The ceremony began with the national anthem of the two countries, and the officials then proceeded to deliver their official speeches. For his part, the Mayor of Djibouti, Mrs. Faduma Awal Osman, emphasized the friendship that links the two people, brother and friends.
xafladan maanta
The Ambassador of India to Djibouti, Mr. Ashok Kumar, has delivered a speech where he said the following.
Occasion and also grand finale activity of the celebration of Mahatma Gandhi's 150th birth anniversary. Yesterday we have paid rich tributes to Mahatma Gandhi, and I am very thankful to Djiboutian leadership, member of the diplomatic corps and UN organizations, distinguished from Djibouti, who paid their homage to Mahatma Gandhi at the bust near airport. Today's ceremony is focused on plantation of 150 saplings of neem tree. 150 because it is Mahatma Gandhi's 150th birthday. You may recall that Honorable President of the Republic of Djibouti, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, has launched the Green Djibouti Drive on 16 October 2019, 1 year back, and a large number of trees were planted. From our side, India supported this plantation drive of the Excellency the President, and we deputed two agriculture scientists, Professor A.K. Handa and Professor J.S. Tomar, who came to Djibouti last year and helped the government in identification of the right trees and the climatic conditions suitable for the plantation of tree in Djibouti. We are helping the President's drive for a green Djibouti. That is our contribution to start with 150 neem tree plantation today.
As for the Mayor of Djibouti, she expressed at the outset her pleasure to participate in this joyful ceremony. She said that the celebration of Gandhi's 150th anniversary marked the celebration of the International Day Against Violence. She took this opportunity to express her gratitude and appreciation on behalf of the Djibouti Mayoral Council to the Indian Ambassador for her invitation to this valuable occasion, during which trees were planted in the capital, and that the process of planting trees has an important role. Now, the planting trees now has an important role in promoting and developing the lifestyle and improving the country's climate in light of the climate change that it is witnessing. Within the framework of the PREV project funded by the IFAD, the Ministry of Women and Family organized on Sunday, October 4, 2020, a ceremony to hand over carts to women fish traders and fish sellers at the Center for Social Action and Women Empowerment located in Balbala. The ceremony was presided over by the General Secretary for the Ministry of Women and Family, Mr. Anisa Hassan Bahdan, the General Secretary Deputy of the UNFT, Mrs. Ruqayya Yusuf Ali, the Acting President of the Civil Society, Mr. Yusuf Hassan, and the beneficiaries took part. Thus, these cards will primarily improve the working condition of women fish wholesalers and fish sellers also increase their income by attracting more demanding consumers on the quality of fish conservation and hygiene, especially during this crucial period of the COVID-19 pandemic. A total of 20 women were each given a card where they can sell their fish in a way that is protected from the sun and that respect hygiene and optimal standards of fish conservation. Now, with the support of the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for Arab School in Djibouti, textbook for Arab schools were distributed today in the presence of the Health of Affairs of the Saudi Embassy in Djibouti, Sheikh Al Raini. The director of the Saudi school in Djibouti, Mr. Mohammed Ibn Alian Al Harbi, the advisor to the Minister of National Education, Mr. Hussein Abdullahi Bilal, the president of the National League of Arab Private Schools, Mr. Abdul Rahman Abdi Ahmed, also attended the ceremony of the distributing textbooks for Arab school principals. There are 15 Arab schools supported by the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. 15,000 students from different Arab schools will benefit from these textbooks. On this occasion, the director of the Saudi school in Djibouti and the advisor of the MENFOB gave a speech in which they indicated the importance that these textbooks reflect for Arab schools. Participants thanked the guardian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, for their continued support. Soon there won't be a Saturday without a flash mob, now being organized in one place or another in capital. Last week, one of these spontaneous meetings was held in the city center for no apparent reason. Several hundred people, without really knowing each other, gathered around 4 p.m. Same bell ringing this Saturday, another flash mob observed in the town of Bulaus, in this case the stadium city, precisely in front of the Thai Hotel, then passing in front of the municipal stadium before closing the evening at Fun City. About 100 people converged these sites concerned, presenting various and varied choreographies while running and jumping. The objective was always to popularize the activities of the city season, to invite young people to attend this development center located throughout the capital and in the interior regions. Several personalities of the ACGS, including the General Secretary, Mrs. Khadija Ibrahim, the CDC's Director, Mrs. Roghia Hassan, and other officials took part in this sporting and cultural event. The State Secretary for Youth and Sport, His Excellency Hassan Mohammed Kamil, welcomed the initiative and especially the creativity and record time of young people. The young people were able to make good use of the time given to them during the confinement, working with motivation and originality. I simply say bravo to them. Now we're great to announce you the death of Mohammed Ghelle, the Said Qarbosh, following a long illness on Thursday evening at his home. The deceased was 95-year-old, left behind him 12 children and 45 grandchildren. All of them prayed to the God Allah to welcome him into his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Moving on to international news now, coronavirus in the world, more than 100,000 deaths in India and reconfinement in Madrid. India has officially exceeded 100,000 deaths due to the coronavirus, while in Europe, Madrid was in partial closure. In India, the second most populated country in the world, with 1.3 billion inhabitants, 842,000 deaths were recorded, according to the Ministry of Health, making it hard. With 6.47 million affected people, it should be in the coming weeks overtake the United States. However, the fact that there are 4 times as many Indians as Americans, but the United States has recorded twice as many deaths as India, raises doubts about the accuracy of the Indian figures. In Europe, the virus has again taken on worrying proportion since last month. A few days ago, the French authorities announced probably more restrictive measures for Paris from Monday. On Saturday, it was Madrid that woke up in partial closure, a measure that is difficult to apply. This is it for this edition of 9 p.m. Thank you for watching us and have a wonderful evening.